Welcome back to Mod Pop Thrift. My name is Tom. I'm a stay-at-home dad for 5 kids, and I am a full-time eBay reseller. And I have this channel to just show you what that looks like for me. Today is the day after Christmas. I hope you guys had the merriest of holiday celebrations. We did. We had celebrations with lots of family. There was a wedding. There was my parents' house. There was her parents coming to our house. It was fantastic, and everybody got along. It was awesome. Kids got lots of cool stuff. They got this. I can't zoom in on the selfie cam. Mario Kart thing that I decided to keep the box for because the box will display really well, even if it is kind of just behind some other stuff. I got too many displayed things over here. And then there's a bunch of mess that I got to clean up. And I can't add that to that display, so I'm just kind of putting stuff elsewhere. That display is pretty full, and that one isn't really like top-notch video game collectibles. Anyway, I have 17 items to ship tomorrow, and I'm going to start pulling them. First things first, we have Aurora Tea Garden. One of these is sealed, and I listed it separately, and I had them listed for like $40, and for the 3 that are open, and then $20 for the sealed one. I had somebody come in and give me an offer for essentially $44 shipped for all of them, and you guys know I paid 75 cents a piece for these, so that is a fantastic offer. We're going to take that and move these on to somebody who cares. This is kind of an interesting story on how the Skylander thing shook out. I paid like $8 and for 2 different trays of these, and the one of them sold for like $40 already, the Chaos one. And I was comping this guy, and I realized that he didn't sell very much by himself, but he sold for quite a bit with his accessories. And I don't really know much about this Skylander mess, but one of his accessories is this thing, and I was like, that I have seen in my house. So Levi's walking by, and I'm looking at this thing, and I'm like, hey, do you guys have this? And I was showing him the comps on the thing, and he's like, yeah, and we have the other part too. And I was like, do you play with it? Is it something that you guys get use out of? And he's like, a little bit. And I said, what if I made you a trade? What if I traded you all those other Skylanders that are worth $5 a piece for those 2 pieces, and you guys have a bunch more Skylanders, and I have a piece that'll sell quick and for decent money. This thing sold for 60. I had it listed for 80, sold for like 65 when I sent out an offer to a bunch of watchers. Because it had these 2 pieces, this guy's not great by himself, but complete, it did sell for good money, and they got a bunch of Skylanders, and I got something that'll sell quick and make good money. These Halo plushes, we paid $1.99 a piece for them, so I'm $6 in. They sold for like $24 plus $6 shipping, because the buyer's all in right at $30. And these are new with tag, so I don't think I would pick these up unless they had the tag and they were that cheap. Probably took them 3 weeks to sell, but they'll be a super easy ship. So, I mean, it wasn't a bad buy. I suspect that without the tags, they would take a lot longer to sell. The comps weren't super good on anybody but the first one that I comped. So those were good. Those were a good flip. They flipped reasonably quickly, but I wouldn't promise anybody that they would do that regularly. I happened to have all but one of them, and they were all new with tag, and it was the week before Christmas. When we moved into the house that we're currently in, this was one thing that was left. There were a handful of things left. Not a lot, but this was one of them. New in the package. It's got 4 cool Ford and a Mustang. Cool coffee mugs, and then some cocoa mix. I don't know if I'd drink the cocoa mix. I don't think I could find a year on this or an expiration or anything. But, oh, well, there it is, 2014. Yeah, probably not drinking 8-year-old hot chocolate mix. It probably would be just fine, but, you know. Anyway, I got this for free because, well, or a whole lot of money if I'm counting it against my mortgage. But anyway, this was left in the house when we bought it. I decided rather than donate it, I'd just throw it up because it would sell eventually, and it sure did for 15 bucks plus. I think the buyer paid $11.99 shipping. This thing sold like 9 a.m. Christmas morning our time, which I thought was pretty weird. Most people are busy, not on eBay. Maybe they got an eBay gift card and decided they wanted this right away. Vintage, nice looking sweater. I think this might be the new with tag one, and I have one that's not new with tag, so I need to figure out which one this is. But this sold for like $27 plus shipping, so I suspect it is probably the new with tag one. And this is an animator by Etch-a-Sketch. Ohio Arts is a company that makes Etch-a-Sketch. Complete in the box. I don't really know anything about it, but I did mess with it for a little bit, and it worked, and it's cool. I bought it at Goodwill a long time ago, and I marked it as high as I felt like was reasonable, and I just let it sit because it wasn't going to break my heart if something this cool never sold. I'd just take it down and put it on the shelf, and then I kind of forgot about it, and it did eventually sell. 26 plus shipping. These are gargoyle figures from that 90s cartoon. It's a really cool cartoon. I made a couple of errors on these. I assumed they were in better condition than they were, and I assumed they were more valuable than they were. And that's the thing about like Whatnot Live Auction, is that somebody's like, okay, this is what I'm selling next. And you have the gargoyles and you're like, dude, that cartoon was so cool. And then you bid, and I could show you these all day long. I could not point out all the flaws. And there's just an error in translation when stuff like this sells on a phone app, on a live auction. So this was early when I first started buying off of Whatnot. Now I kind of like, well, if that's in half the condition that I think it is, this is what it would be worth. And I'm not going to assume that it's more than that. And I didn't comp them because I had like 45 seconds to bid or something, and I decided to take a chance. I don't remember what I spent, but I remember thinking, I hope those are worth a lot, because I spent like $5 a piece on them. And I think essentially, I think I will break even, because I think they sold for $17 plus shipping. And so they cover the shipping, and the $2 covers the fees. And I'm basically at break even on them, and I've had them for a long time. But the lesson there is, buying things on impulse live auction, you shouldn't spend a lot of money, because sometimes things come back different. Last one of these is moving out today. I got them in Walmart clearance for $1.25. They retailed at 10 bucks. I put them in my store for 15 because that's where the comps were. Sold 3 or 4 of them in the last couple of weeks, maybe 2 months. I held on to these, clicking one off at a time, and I knew that they would sell. I said at the time, I think I made a video, and I said I think they'll sell right before Christmas, because that's the kind of thing that's cool to get for a kid to get for Christmas. Couple of Hoarder House books. These are a little bit chewed up on the side, and this one on the back. Sold for $11. H. Rider Haggard. A lot of this kind of sci-fi fantasy romance kind of stuff. Prolific, not heralded, but these were good. They've been listed for more than a year for probably around a year at this point, but this is $11 plus shipping, and it's not the kind of thing that's going to sell fast. So that was okay, especially in this kind of condition. I don't remember when I found this, but it's a vintage crew neck pullover sweatshirt. But I remember thinking that was a cool crest, but I didn't recognize the brand. But then when I saw this tag, I'm like, oh, I recognize that brand as Pony from the 80s. And this sold for not very much, but I wouldn't have spent very much on it. I think it was a place where all the shirts were $2 that's been long since closed. You may remember that I did the high bid auction and I got all these complete in box video games. This one is Q*bert, which I played a ton with my dad for the ColecoVision, and it was marked way up. I put it at the top of the market because, again, this one isn't going to break my heart if I end up on the video game complete in box shelf. But I don't really collect for ColecoVision, so I thought I might as well sell it. That's what I bought it for. And It's sold. I've been sending out a lot of $15 or I'm sorry, 15% off offers just in mass when they come up. I look at my phone after a couple hours and I have 11 items you're able to send new offers on, and then I go and send a 15% off offer on all of the stuff. I make sure there's nothing on there that I wouldn't want to do that with. Maybe something that's been around for a long time I do more, and something that I just listed maybe I'll do less. But that one got into the $15 or the 15% off pile, and it sold. I don't remember for what. I want to say it was like $21, $25 plus shipping. $25 free shipping, which I was pretty close, I guess. Five Bros is a company that puts out flannels and these kind of chamois, and it tends to work out well for me when I buy these. This one is a smaller size, and it's got some stains on it, and it's white, so like it has a lot of strikes against it. Sold for $12 plus shipping. I haven't had it very long. I know I haven't had it listed for very long. But I don't remember where I got it, and I don't know how long I've had it, but it was in the death pile, and then it wasn't for like 2 weeks, and it sold for $12. Dark Tower, red flag with a yellow dragon, lion, griffin, something. If you're not familiar with Dark Tower, I did a video about when I picked this up. I paid $150 for it. I have more than made my money back a while ago, and I'm selling each individual piece for, like, this sold for $12 plus shipping. There's some pieces as low as like $3 or $4 plus shipping. I sold the main tower for $175 free shipping, and and I still have a lot of the pieces left. But if you're not familiar with Dark Tower, you should be familiar. It's probably one of the most expensive games you're likely to find at an estate sale or something. And so you can make some money if you know what Dark Tower is and know what to look for. And then a few things that are still inside the house, those Opera goggle binoculars. They're not goggles, they're binoculars. Sold for like $12 plus $12 shipping, and I paid $2 for those at an auction recently, the same time as the Skylanders. And then I paid $1.99 for Stay Puft Marshmallow Man, and he sold for the amount of money shown on the screen. All right, so that's it for things that have sold as of about 3 o'clock on post-Christmas, and that need to ship on Tuesday because Christmas was on a Sunday, so there's no mail on Monday. Another thing that's going to happen on Tuesday, the day after Christmas, is the end of the Herman Miller chair saga. Homeboy did end up paying me $83 to have me ship it to California. And so I think I've made some notes in the last, but this will be the end of that. I'll ship it tomorrow. I'll go to U-Haul, get a box, use craft paper, because nobody has time or storage to save, or go to Walmart and ask them for boxes. I'm all about recycling, and I use recyclable products almost every time, but I had somebody in the comments suggest that I should waste a whole bunch of time going around asking the Girl Scouts, literally said ask the Girl Scouts for free material so that I don't have to waste money on craft paper that costs like a cent a square foot or less. And I shouldn't use U-Haul boxes because I can get them free from places like Walmart, or use used newspaper, which is a dirty mess, and I would be frustrated if somebody sent me a collectible wrapped in used newspaper and rubbing ink all over stuff. So I'm going to go to U-Haul and use clean, recyclable materials and ship this thing safely and run my business the way I want. One other thing about that. If I had a multi-million dollar operation where I had warehouses and people to go ask the Girl Scouts for material and a building to store the materials, that's probably how I would do it. Free materials, lower carbon footprint, all fantastic things. but it is not practical for a one-man show. I can't spend time listing and sourcing and shipping and asking the Girl Scouts for free dirty newspaper.